You guys feel talking there, Max?
Check 1, 2,
Check.
Mousetopia Podcast. Check. Yeah, oh, we're good.
This is a pre-roll.
You can say roll.
Your attention, please.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here we go! How do you do? Mighty pleasant greeting.
When hinges creak in doorless chambers.
Space Mountain!
This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Oh, yeah. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Episode number 34.
34?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because the other one is... Okay.
You know why I'm confused? Because
this one hasn't been released yet.
So 33 hasn't been released yet.
Yes, and I'm sorry.
Surprise!
We had technical difficulties, guys.
Technical
difficulties. Now, wait, we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room. We are not at Jonas's house.
Wouldn't it be cool if it was though? Because now I'm thinking I want a fucking recording studio in my house. This is great. Where are we?
We are in the city of Orange, and I'm trying to remember.
Hear No Evil Studios.
Thank you. Hear No Evil Studios. Shout out to Zoe.
Zoe.
She is our sound engineer right now. This thing feels legit right now.
I feel professional.
Right. I feel very professional right now. How you doing, Eric?
I'm tired.
Why are you? All right, so
why are you tired?
A little behind the scenes stuff.
Behind the scenes. So I did a 16-hour shift on Saturday.
Yeah, our hospital right now has a current shortage of knock shift nurses.
Yeah.
They tried to pull me in. I said no. They pulled him in, and he said yes.
Yes,
So it's your own fucking fault.
Yeah, I'm okay with staying up for 16 hours. But it's
I mean,
just
you usually do 12s anyways.
I do 12s every time.
Yeah.
But as you know, I have insomnia. And when I say I have insomnia, wherein I'm up for days.
Jeez.
So part of you is like, well, I'm gonna be up anyway, so I might as well make some money doing it.
Right.
It is, but I kind of stopped doing like 16-hour shifts just
Right.
because of the fact that I can't go to sleep after. And sure enough, I did a 16-hour shift and I couldn't sleep for like almost 2 days.
That's just your MO, bro. Like you work 16 hours and for some reason, I don't know if it's because your body just feels like fight or flight. I gotta stay up because I gotta work.
That's usually a nurse thing.
Yeah, it is a nurse thing for sure, and it sucks, bro. So. Hopefully after this podcast you get some sleep today.
I'm actually gonna go to the
gym.
I'm actually gonna try to go to the gym.
Does that help you feel more rest or make it easier for you to sleep at night?
Going to the gym?
Yeah.
I try to do it in the morning before my shift, and that actually helps.
All right. Wait, before your shift you work out?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Is it just so I'm muscular enough to handle a
No,
big session?
because if I try to go after work,
You're too tired.
Yeah, I'm too. No, not even too tired. It just makes my insomnia worse because
Right.
I'm amped up. I worked out with this.
'cause-
Yeah, I worked out with this guy once.
Yeah.
Like after
That was
work.
fun.
So on the last episode we talked about how Teardrop is getting a trainer and he's starting to get back into shape.
You know, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not 100% in the sense of doing it every single day. It's just been kind of hard with, I've been working 20 days straight, and then I have a lot of family issues in the background right now that have been kind of keeping me from being my full potential. I'm hoping within the end of this month, I can commit to like May being the month where I'm going to give myself a goal and be like, okay, every day I'm going to go work out or at least walk every day. I don't have to work out, but at least walk every single day. And from May 1st to May 30th or 31, I think 31 days in May.
Well, no,
I'm gonna do my best.
I was even go farther than that. So your goal, I believe, is for October for Walt Disney World.
Yeah, of course. The
You
walk.
want to make sure that you're physically able, that you're ready to truly
Then I'm
enjoy
ready
that
to
park.
go all the way. Yeah.
Is there an actual goal that you have in mind of actually how much weight that you want to lose?
I mean, minimal goal.
Yeah.
Minimal goal is
Yeah.
to get back to the weight that I was when I did the keto, because that was at least 60 pounds that I lost. Something that's definitely doable. It's just I have to keep myself motivated in the sense of having to cook my meals every day, meal prepping the way that I'm supposed to do. So it's a little bit difficult because of my situation at home, because Just to make things a little shorter, I have my mom and dad living with me now, so that's kind of tough because having to have them like to cook for them, to like I don't have time for me in a sense to do a lot right now.
It's easier to make a bunch of stuff, put in a pot and serve instead of like portion it out.
Exactly, because I really can't focus on myself right now.
And your parents aren't.
And there's not enough room because I already have a roommate that lives with me, so it's like I can't put a lot of things in the fridge. It's just difficult right now to like meal prep and do things for me.
But yeah, as long as like think about this, you lost a lot of weight with just keto, but keto plus working out, it's gonna melt off.
Yeah, because it is kind of like a low carb thing. I'm still able to eat carbs, and I think that's probably the main reason why I might stay still focused on this one, because I'm not kind of completely taking it away from myself, you know. But I'm just doing my best, just to kind of like eat better. But I think the main focal point is being physical, being active. To the change of jobs from when I used to work with you guys to the way I work now, it's a whole lot more sedentary. So it's like I'm sitting on a damn freaking desk chair for 8 hours a day and I'm not moving. So my trainer said, well, when you get your 15 minutes, why don't you just walk for 15 minutes and then go back to your chair? I've been trying to do that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of difficult when I'm like, sometimes if I'm busy or if I'm doing an assessment on a patient, it's like, shit, man, like I'm trying to do my walk, but now I got to focus. Now I'm lunchtime and I got to go eat lunch. You know, it's just, there's always something going on, but I'm going to do my best to focus on the things that he wants me to do. I want to appreciate Eric. The days that he has off.
Personal trainer.
Look at this guy, dude. He wore the shirt for a reason.
We specifically told him, he was asked us, do I have a jacket on, jacket off? We're like, jacket off.
Jacket off.
Let's see him.
Sir. Take off that shirt.
And you know what? Those pants are bothering me too. Show off those quads. If you are, again, anyone who follows,
he's showing
he's doing it.
He's showing it. Oh, Jesus Christ! On the camera.
This is why you guys have to watch the video part. All right. So I haven't been sleeping, but it has nothing to do with work. I'm a lazy fuck. I don't like to. They've been asking me to come in, and I know I know we're losing nurses at knock shift, but I just can't do it. Even before this weekend, and this week has been so fucking busy. My family's in town. My brothers from...
Are they still in town?
They all left last night.
Oh.
Yeah, but they've been out. They've been in... My brothers from the East Coast and their families. My cousins from San Diego. My cousins from San Francisco were in for a family reunion. It was my Auntie Linda's 80th birthday.
Wow.
So we were all...
Shout out to Auntie Linda.
Shout out to Auntie Linda.
Shout out Auntie.
Shout cat.
Shout cat.
Shout cat.
Oh, no, don't spoil it. Don't. So anyways, the past 5 days from Wednesday onward, I've been going to work, then meeting up with my family every day, staying up to like 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm fucking tired. It was so bad that the last night I was with my family, I felt like I couldn't stand. Right. I was like, we were singing karaoke at the hotel, and I was like sitting from a chair, like singing My Chemical Romance all cuddled together, like, oh, what's the worst that I could say? I kept whispering to my wife, I can't stand up. But I knew that this is going to be a busy week. Starting off today, where we have our record with a very special guest.
So stay tuned, guys.
Stay tuned. Shout cat.
Shout cat.
But then also tomorrow, I have my Disney Retro Night.
Throwback night.
Throwback night? Oh,
throwback
fuck.
Night.
I said retro night.
Retro
Oops.
night. It's all right. So throwback night. Throwback night.
So I'm going with my wife. We talked about this. I got my costumes ready. My wife's costume. Oh, my wife's going to be so hot. Picture up here. Bing. Bing. Tony and Eric, you guys are going.
Eric's not going.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh, wait, that's right.
Yeah.
It's being the director.
He'll be at the Boysenberry Festival.
Snooptopia ENT.
So you're going with director Isabel.
Yeah.
Which day are you going?
We're going on Thursday.
Is that the 20th?
No. Is it the 20th? I mean, today's what day?
Today's the 17th.
18, 19,
It
20.
is
Yeah, it is the 20th.
Oh,
Okay.
What?
What?
420.
420.
Happy birthday, Hitler. But you just went to Dapper Day yesterday.
Yes.
All right.
So
how's
Dapper Day was really fun, though. So this is the thing. I swear, like, something always happens for me during Dapper Day. So a couple years ago, a couple years ago when I was dating a certain person that used to be in the very beginning of this podcast, or married, or I was dating at that time. Anyways, so that person, I stayed at their place, right? So we're going to go to Dapper Day. Had my clothes in the car, and tell me why they bust into my car and steal my clothes.
This was your first Dapper Day.
Yeah, no, one of my first Dapper days. Not my main first one. But when I was dating this person
like,
and I
why is
stayed
it
over her
still-
house, then in the morning I wake up and I'm like, why is my car door open? All my shit is gone. My shoes, my clothes. I was so pissed off because I had one of the best ones. I had red dress pants.
That's
white
sick.
shirt, yellow suspenders. I was in a Disney bound as Mickey, but
That's
dope.
so cool. Yeah.
But then it was gone. And then I had the Stacey Adams white and black shoes. Oh my God, they were gorgeous. Anyways,
What happened this year?
This year I ordered it with about a week and a half time from I got a. Well, I don't want to say the colors. I just say the color, but I'm not gonna show you what it's kind of look like. But it's just navy blue. I was gonna do more of like a Dapper Dan kind of deal, and they got caught up in somewhere in damn Chino, so they're gonna be delivered today, a day after. So I was like, man,
So
never
he
mind,
ended up
bro.
wearing like what's that?
More like a guayabera,
Yeah,
like
with the pockets and
yeah,
stuff.
the pockets, and then
I mean, director Isabel was cute as hell.
oh yeah, she had like a
picture up
cherry.
there, bam.
Bing, yeah, well,
Yeah, but-
picture of both of us. Bing,
No,
there you go.
cut you out.
Oh,
We-
yeah.
Yes,
All right, I think
please.
I'll
Give
put
a
her
fuck
up there.
about a
Yeah.
I'll
guayabera.
put her up there.
Yeah, but you could. We were talking about this earlier. You could use this for throwback night.
Yeah. So hopefully, we're gonna go to Throwback Night. I have a couple of ideas. I just gotta take my stuff to the cleaners, but I have some ideas for Throwback Night for Thursday. It'll be fun. And then hopefully, if we can go to. And that's what I'm thinking. I might save that suit kind of deal if we go to the Cicada Club. I think that would be amazing if I can go on Sunday.
What's happening at the Cicada Club?
Oh, there's something going on. We'll get to that
We'll
later.
find out.
Yeah.
But for now, quick little intro. We want to get into our different perspective.
Different perspective.
Different perspective.
Who's gonna be our different perspective today?
It's someone we've talked about a lot. Shout Cat.
Shout Cat.
Shout Cat.
Phat Cat Swinger.
We're gonna have 3 members of the band Phat Cat
Wait,
Swinger.
I thought it was gonna be 2, but we're happy with 3. That's fine. All 3 of them will be great.
Yeah, but we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back.
And we'll be back. Quick break. Thank you guys for listening to the Mousetopia Podcast, Mousetopia ENT. Don't forget to follow us on the YouTube channel. That is youtube.com. Just on the search bar, type in Mousetopia ENT, where you'll find all the latest vlogs, adventures, as well as the podcast that will come up on there. So don't forget Mousetopia ENT on YouTube. So we are coming back right about now. If they want, I mean, we can make it work. That'd be
We're
awesome.
here for you guys. You let us know.
Okay, we'll start recording.
She's got it. I think she's got it.
All
She's
right,
good to go.
So just say and introduce yourself each by name, and then we're the Phat Cat Swingers. You're listening to the Mousetopia Podcast.
You're
Oh,
listening
maybe
to the-
right before we start though, we are Phat Cat Swinger.
Swingers.
Swinger.
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 Yes,
Oh,
you've
see?
always said
I'm
swinger.
already ruining it already.
Like-
Swinger.
He's
All right, let's
nervous.
get our bubble.
No, okay, we'll talk about it later.
All right.
Yeah.
Go for it, guys. Introduce us.
Hey, everybody. I'm Marco Paulos,
I'm Sean O'Kelly.
I'm Mark Kapitsky.
and we are
Phat Cat Swinger.
Episode 34 is already high, baby. What's going on, guys?
Welcome.
We are super excited. As you guys already heard in the background, the awesome gentlemen that just introduced themselves.
They are our different perspective.
They are a different perspective today.
perspective.
Phat Cat Swinger. I'm already ruining it. Phat Cat Swinger.
He's nervous, guys. He's nervous.
But we can start from the very beginning about when Jonas, when I told you first time about them.
Yeah, when I started the show, our first episode was right after New Year's.
Yeah.
Last what was that? Fucking 2022?
2022.
Yeah, and then it was right off of you performed at Newport for New
Oh.
Year's.
Balboa
Yeah.
Pavilion.
I remember
Yes.
that time I had COVID. So I was seeing video of him with you, all of you. Well, were you all there? Yeah.
I had co.
Mark.
COVID as
Oh,
well.
well, Mark, right.
Yeah, Coven Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, like he came from. I was watching this video of him watching you having a great time, and then literally like a day later he got COVID. So
I
that's
know.
why-
I remember.
Thank you, Orange
I
County,
remember-
and your non-wearing mask people out there.
Yeah, but-
Nobody was wearing masks that day.
We got.
Nobody.
I must have lucked out, man, because I was there. I
Oh,
was
you
hanging
were
in
there?
Yeah.
Have you gotten it yet?
No, I have gotten it.
That's how the show started. It was that him and his original partner Eric, we all love Disneyland so much, but they couldn't go, so they would just have these shows talk about how much we miss it, and then I would listen as a fan. And I'd be like, yeah, I miss it too, guys. And then they finally invite me on, and I stole the show from Eric.
Yeah!
I could say bad words, too.
I'll tell you, though.
No, but the funniest thing is that you guys actually became a part of our pod in a weird way, because on our first show back from COVID, he says, I want to give a shout out to Phat Cat Swinger. And for some reason, I go, Shout Cat.
Shout Cat.
Shout Cat.
And Shout Cat's been there. So you say Shout Cat ever since then.
So first off, do you guys want to have a Shout Cat outside?
I like that.
Shout Cat.
For anybody?
There you go, man. See, we're already giving ideas already.
Do we want to give a shout cat to anybody?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Suburban Legends.
Yes, Suburban Legends. Those guys
Yeah.
are so cool. We went to go see them. I took our original band member Will.
Okay.
Him and I, the two original members left of the band, but we went Saturday to go see them at the park. And gosh, I just love listening to them. Many people don't know, but when Will and I were younger, we would go watch them when they started playing in the park.
Same. I remember seeing them always at Downtown Disney at the Terrace.
And Tomorrowland Terrace.
Let me ask something, if it's not too rude. How old are you fellas?
I'm 40.
41. I'm 40. I'm turning 41.
Yeah.
All right.
36.
All right.
34.
Yeah, so we're
on the same part.
Yeah,
the
same
Legends
age.
grade. Like, to me, that was always the Disney band until I heard of you guys. And then it was like, well, sorry, Spoon.
When I found out that they were going to be on the lineup this year, I was like so excited. I told
starstruck.
I was I was just like I told Will, I was like, Will, guess who's going to be on the Food and Wine this year? He goes, who? And he's joking, saying silly names, and I said Suburban Legends, and he blew his mind, and he was just so excited. We're like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Are you guys from the Anaheim area, Orange County area?
No.
Oh, okay.
All of us from different places, but Phat Cat originated in the high desert, in a garage, technically in Victorville, but where we established ourselves was Apple Valley. Our original trumpet player, his house became our domain, and we would rehearse there in that garage 2 times a week for years. On top of gigs, it was the beginning developing of the band. We used to memorize our music. We never had charts, everything. Right. But we only had maybe 25 songs. Yeah. Now we've got over 200 songs or something.
Wow.
Was it always big band swing oriented?
Yeah, I mean, how would you describe it?
I would definitely say it's it all started with kind of like a response to the neo swing era of the 90s.
Right.
And so there's a lot of strong big bad
money,
Booty Daddy
so
influence.
money, baby.
Yeah.
That's one of my talking points.
Oh yeah. And but what's interesting is as we work with new people, we start to open up to new perspectives, and I think that really started to turn just a few years before I was there. We had a singer, his name is Douglas Rogiers. He works with us still today, and he brought in a lot of Sinatra influence.
I was because one of my questions was what the crooners bring to the party, and then when I heard his stuff, I was like, that's flat out Sinatra.
Yeah. And you guys do some Sinatra songs too, so I mean, I could see the connection with that.
Well, let's take it back. So I want to go way back. How did you guys first? And I know it's a big, broad question, but how did you fall in love with music? You want
each of you guys. Yeah, start with Mark.
You've been very quiet, sir. I put you in the middle of the fucking table.
He's the Eric of the group.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, music. I was never gonna really be a singer. I actually played the trumpet.
Oh wow.
I loved big band music.
Was it something where you sung to yourself quietly, but you weren't sure of yourself, or you just one day realized I could sing?
Yeah, it was kind of that. It was kind of a family joke at the time where I would do an impression of Bing Crosby singing "I'm Dreaming of White Christmas."
Okay.
I hear that.
Yeah.
And they're like, you do that really well. And then
Yeah.
Come on, it's Christmas. Get up there.
Yeah.
You do the Bowie part.
That's basically what it was. My mom and my little sister were like, they were huge into musical theater, and they're like, oh, you should come and do a production. I was like, no, I'm okay.
I have my
not
trumpet.
Saying,
my trumpet over here.
Yeah, and not saying anything in front of anybody. That was just terrifying.
So, when did you step up to the mic as part of Phat Cat Swinger? Or was it just?
That was right before the lockdown. So it was like January of 2020, and we're just gearing up, jumping in a bunch of shows. Yeah. And the Food and Wine Festival was actually my last performance.
Right? Yeah.
That was kind of what we were gearing up for. It was like, all right, you got to get ready for Food and Wine Festival. And we got 2 weekends and then 2 weeks of lockdown, supposedly.
Well,
shit happens. Yeah.
So, Sean, same question. Like, how did you first fall in love with music? How did you develop what is your instrument of choice when you're not singing?
Saxophone.
Saxophone. Oh, you're a saxophone too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have the horn section, vocals, it's everything. So did you always start off as a saxophone player, or?
So I originally it was elementary school, and the teacher, did a little presentation to the school, like, "Hey, you can be in band, and these are the different instruments you can play." And I remember running home, telling my mom, "Like, I want to play trumpet."
Yeah.
And she said, "You're gonna play saxophone."
Oh.
And I was like, "Why?" At first, I was like, "Why?"
But it has more of the allure. I am a failed saxophonist because I have pretty much the same story, except I got my sax and I was like, I can't do this.
You just gave it one shot.
Yeah.
You just gave it a shot.
We at my elementary school, we had something called the note boat. We didn't have a music room. We had a fucking bus that would park in front of the school, and then everyone in band would go into this humid ass bus with our instruments. They remove every other seat so you'd have space for notes and your instrument. And I was like getting nosebleeds, and I was like, I can't do this.
What the gosh? Oh my god!
The bus sounds cool as hell.
In theory, right? Right, but then, so you were playing the saxophone, and did you immediately fall in love with it, or were you like, I wanted the trumpet?
I did fall in love with it, but it hit me. I was in middle school, and the regular band director, she was great and everything, but it was just not really, wasn't really engaging, wasn't really clicking, whatnot.
Yeah.
And
you want to shout her out?
Yeah. No. She
curse her name. Let's dox her right now.
She ended up leaving. She was on maternity leave, and the long-term sub we got was this guy who was just like super dynamic and just got the whole program
like
really
a Jack Black School of Rock kind of deal, like that.
Exactly. It was like basically that.
But the director you needed, that you wanted.
The director, that's
left,
cool.
You were all like, no, wait.
Yeah. Well,
she needs to take care of her child. We want him.
Exactly. Yeah. And people, there was legitimate concerns from parents, like, does she have to come back?
Right.
And like I said, she was good. It was, but like the whole thing turned
Just
around, and not just turning students into musicians, but turning them into entertainers and performers as well.
Wow.
Like,
that's what a music director or instructor should do. It's not just here's how you fucking do it, but here's how you do it and do it forever.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's no.
He deserves a shout out.
Oh yeah. Mr. Michael Weeks. Yeah.
Ooh, Mr. Michael Weeks. Good job, sir.
Right.
And started a little jazz band at the school, taught us all what improvisation was, and got us into swing. And then that was what motivated me to go to a more like music-focused high school. Yeah. And then from there went to a music-focused college, got a degree and whatnot. But
fame costs.
Yeah, but it all started. All started with
a lot of hard work,
leave.
a lot of late nights.
That's cool. Now, Marco, I creepily read your bio on your Spotify, so I know a little bit about how you got here.
Yeah.
But why don't you tell us how you got here from back
from up there in Hesperia, from up there.
So my life has always had music. My dad did it as a hobby. He would play. He had this like one of those organs. Now you'll find them like in an old thrift shop for like $100.
Wow.
With different functions, the drum machine and stuff.
Yes,
I still have my dad's in the garage. Yeah.
It's like, and then you got the little color like the orange and blue and green keys.
The little clickers.
Yeah. So he used to play that, and he would play. I remember his favorite thing to play was like he would play Juan Gabriel, the Beatles,
right
just different things that he could accompany himself with. And then my grandma, she played guitar, and also like so when. Later in life, when my parents split, I would hear my grandma playing the guitar every night before she goes to bed, and she would
that's
sing
a beautiful
these
memory.
songs.
Yeah,
from,
man.
you know, I call them like songs del campo. You know, like old church songs that she would sing and everything. So, but since my parents said that like I imitated things very easily as a kid. So at 4 years old, they gave me little plastic instruments, and I started playing with those. From there, I went. I think at 4 years old is when I kind of started playing with the instruments, and then somewhere around 4th or 5th grade, I started getting piano lessons, and then in the 5th grade, the thing that led me to the saxophone was a crush.
Oh, it always happens. Dang, women.
I fully understand.
I went into band.
So that's the reason I joined the army.
And they're like, "All right, what instrument are you going to choose?" And I sat next to this girl, and she played saxophone. And to make that long story short, actually, I started. My parents couldn't afford the sax, so then I got kicked out of class because the school was so poor. We didn't have extra instruments.
This was before the days that they really pushed music classes.
Yeah.
Like, you need more money for.
I'm listening to
football
Sean's
helmets.
story, and I'm like, damn, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we had a
time.
poor school. Like, no, there was no like supplement of instruments or anything. So it's like, if you don't have an instrument, you can't be here. We can't even give you a recorder.
And then
like,
your crush would be like, I'll see you when you get your sax.
Right. So meanwhile, then that was 5th grade. So I don't have any band during 5th grade. Then 6th grade starts, and I sign myself up for band, and again I don't have the saxophone yet, and my parents are saving up, and then but they did have some extra instruments, and I said, well, Teach, what do you need? And she goes, we need some French horns. I said, give me the French horn. So I started with
ridiculously
the French horn.
Very hard.
So that was my first instrument, and I did that for about 2 or 3 months, and then finally my sax came in. I said, I'm like, Teach, I got my sax. And then I said, put me in. And I had been sitting behind the saxophones, learning and offering to put away my friends'
through osmosis,
saxophones.
right,
Like, hey, can I put your sax away? I'll clean it up and everything. And I would run through fingering so that I could keep up with them.
That's passion.
And so then I finally like, all right, great. So I got the saxophone. I started playing, and then she called me her little miracle child because she was like, you are going fast. So then the next year they skipped me from intermediate band to advanced band. And then I went, and I was excited because I thought, finally, I'm going to catch up with my crush.
Yeah.
Right? That was the first year they created Advanced Band 2. And so she was there. I was in Advanced Band 1. So and then she was a year older than me. So then finally, 8th grade, I'm in Advanced Band 2, but she's in high school now. And then when I get to high school, she is nowhere to be found. Oh. And I'm like, where is she? And then she was in the jazz band. Well, freshmen were not allowed in the jazz band.
So you're like,
but
that's my next step.
I started hanging out with the seniors, like that I saw them jamming in one of the rooms, in like this little room closet that I remember them jamming in. And then I was like, hey, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're playing jazz, man. You want some? I was like, yeah.
You want some?
You want some? I was like, yeah. So they
try the jazz.
My very first blues scale, my B flat blues scale. Oh. And I went and got my saxophone, and I'm like, yeah, let me jam with you guys. And I did. And then one of them snuck out, got the band director, like, check out this kid.
So they bumped you in even though you were a freshman?
They bumped me in.
That's awesome.
They bumped me in.
That is
and
cool.
then the teacher says, he goes, what do you do in 4th period? I'm like, I got English. He goes, not anymore. And so I was, and at that school, I was the first freshman in jazz band, and it kind of opened up the door for other kids to get in sooner if they had the passion for it, of course. And then,
so now I'm well known as the horny one here. Yeah. my final question. What happened with the girl?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So by the time I got to high school and I made it into the jazz band. She already had a boyfriend. And then the fun thing is we did become friends, and we've actually still friends today. I've seen her, and I've seen her kids grow up and everything.
Wow.
And so it's been, we have a very nice friendship.
It's
and,
kind of a cool thing though. You look at this girl even today, and you're like, if not for her, I would be.
Who knows? You don't know.
That was what drove me to really dive into the sax. I mean, I love music. I would have chosen something anyway, but that was where my love for sax came, was because I wanted to sit next to this girl.
That's a great story. All
that
great
is
stories,
awesome.
actually, but it just illustrates like how you find yourself here, how you find yourself on stage, in front of Cal Furniture, in front of all these yelling people, playing your horns with your fancy suits. You know that could have been completely different depending on one piece moving to the left.
The butterfly effect.
Right.
The butterfly effect.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah,
all the things
man.
the different directions things could have gone. There's been so many changes in our band over the years. It's
I imagine that with the number of people. Well, what is your band number at right now? You're called the Little Big Band.
Right.
So how many members are in your Little Big Band?
So
at any given time.
So on stage we have a maximum of about 11.
Okay.
But it depends on a number of factors, but we try for 11 as much as we can, if not 10.
Sometimes someone has COVID.
I remember I remember that when we went to that COVID event. Well, COVID event. The event where I got COVID. COVID event. I remember that day. That half of the band was at the festival holidays that day, doing the first set, and then a part of you guys had to rush over to Newport to start the show.
That was me.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I was like, wait a minute. So how does that work? Like, I know that they still have one more show at Disney, but you're about to start the show here right now. You have to come to Newport. How does that even work? But I could see how
they would just drop certain sections of the horn
exactly,
sections.
or the just
But that's the beauty of it. I don't know if you guys know, but we have like 30-something musicians now.
So then at any given time you pull off the B team, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and here's the things. Like I know it's this is something I'm trying to change with our own group. Is like we could say for simplicity we have A, B, and C, but I never want B to feel like they're the B.
Everyone's important at any given moment.
The way we treat it is like if you're a member of this band, you're a member of this band, whether you are here a few times or all the time. Everybody goes through the rehearsals. Everybody goes through the process of we have them audit a show so they know and see it from the audience perspective to know what they're seeing, what they're giving.
Yeah.
There's so many processes. So that day we had 20-something musicians booked. We have one team over at Disney and one at the other. And Adrienne helped sing. She was the one who was singing earlier.
Yes.
So she helped carry the first part of the show because I told the promoter, I said, hey, Mark got sick and I'm going to have to go to Disney. Because Mark, I think, were you going to do?
I was going to do Disney and then rush over for the last set for Newport. Yeah.
And then I was going to be already at the New Year's.
Yeah.
Right, Newport. So then, so I ended up running to Disney to go do there. And then finished that and ran down. Thankfully, traffic was clear.
Yeah, it was weird because it was
everybody at the parties.
Yeah. I got there with 13 minutes to spare, and literally just jumped on stage and started.
And just took over, and that was it. And then I got COVID, baby. Let's go.
You can literally see the COVID going through his body. He was like posting, and he was posting it.
I was watching his stories, and then one of them is like you and him, like all close up, and I was like, "Oh, the fucker gets COVID."
Hey, what happened? You wished it on me. You wished.
And I'm like, right there. I was like, right there. What happened?
No, but he didn't get it though.
We can actually relate to that on a smaller scale because it's usually us core three, but then at any given time he's sleeping or I go pick up my kids or something, and then we pull in past guests as to be our third. Most notably is his girlfriend. She's usually our director handling camera, but then whenever he's gone, we throw in Director Isabel. So shout out to Director Isabel.
Shout out to Isabel. She wanted to be here, but she couldn't make it.
So all right. Speaking on that, so I had another question about your vocal styles. So I had a chance
all
to
three
listen
of you
to
completely
sing,
different.
I had a chance to listen to you sing. I haven't found a video of you sing yet, but then what is your vocal? Well, I get your ranges. I know, like, you could go low, you go high. Are there any certain songs that, like, we'll have Mark sing that? We're going to have Mark sing that. We're going to have Douglas sing that.
Sean can definitely talk about that.
So this has been, like, the focus of my study because really in the last few years is when we've been experimenting with so many different vocalists. When I first started with the band, there was one guy, and then that person left, and then there was another guy, and so you just sort of adapted.
Right.
But now we have Marco, for example, is very much a bass baritone.
Yeah.
But he's been...
I've heard him go high.
Yeah, he's been practicing really, really hard, and he really does get some good tenor notes out. Like, for example, at the end of Friend Like Me, Robin Williams is singing that song, and he hits it's a G, which is really, really high for most tenors.
But for most songs,
and
he has
sustained.
that bassy kind of...
Right. So, like, it was funny. It was like right before we were starting, we were kind of warming up our voices with Grim Grinning Ghosts.
Let's hear it again. The last 45 minutes, just like, all right, now sing this one.
Oh, the trouble I get myself into. You want to give it a whirl?
Do it.
When the crypt doors creak and the tombstones quake,
spooks arrive for a swing and wake.
Happy haunts materialize
and begin to vocalize.
Grim Grinning Ghosts come out to socialize. Now don't close your eyes and don't
he has to bring that part in. He has to.
Or a silly spook may sit by your side.
Shrouded in a daft disguise.
They pretend to terrorize.
Grim Grinning Ghosts come out to socialize. We'll have that ready by Sunday.
I'm fucking chills. I'm like, they're real.
I love it.
Let's cut their heads off.
So that one was we had like a big Halloween gig. I think it was at Clifton's, if I remember correctly.
The cafeteria?
Yeah. Back in the day. And we wanted like a showstopper. And so I was like, why don't we do Grim Grinning Ghosts? And it was like, okay, well, let's do that. And I realized, I'm like, okay, this is cool, but it's kind of shopping tempo. It's not, I needed something that like with intensity.
Yeah.
And then it hit me. I was like, I could pair it up with the theme from Beetlejuice.
Wow. That's a great mashup.
And so what we found...
Do you have video of it somewhere?
Yeah, I do.
Well, we'll put the link
Does he? Wait till you see. He's got a pretty... And there's a story with this, too.
Yeah. So there's a... the thing was, how do you connect these two? Well, they obviously have a common theme. And then we... at the very end of Grim Grinning Ghosts, there's this line that says, if you would like to join our jamboree, there's a spool that's compulsory. Mortals pay a token fee, right? And then but the last line is, so hurry back, we enjoy your company.
We changed it.
We changed it to, 'cause daylight comes and we wanna go home. And it's funny because it took us several rehearsals, because Danny Elfman's a musical genius, but it took us several rehearsals just to figure out when the solo line is supposed to come in, right?
Yeah.
And because like most music, like if you listen to pop, hip hop, most things, everything's divisible by like 4 and 8. And so there's like, you almost kind of feel like when a new section's about to come, it's like, don't go.
Yeah.
It just feels like that's the next thing. Now we're into the next part of that theme or whatever. Wow. Whereas with Danny, you never know. And you really, so you just have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, now.
Then you gotta go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now.
So when that drops in front of the cafeteria, everyone just turned like, whoa.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, not just everyone. There was somebody very, very special there that night. It was funny because we didn't know this until afterwards. We're packing. We finished the show. We pack up, and this lady comes up to me and she goes like, "Hey, who wrote the Grim Grinning Ghosts cover?" And I was like, "Well, that was me." She's like, "Have you thought about selling that?" I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, of course. We got to deal with like licensing and stuff like that." She's like, "Do you need help with that?" And I'm like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Like, where does this go? You're not Joe Regular. Yeah.
Stranger danger.
She's like, "My friend can really help you with that." And I'm like, "Okay, well, who's your friend?" It's like, and it's loud because it's Clifton's late at night. Okay, who? Mike Giacchino. And I'm like,
wow.
Mike it took me, like, I had so much whiskey in my head. I was just like, zap! And I was like, wait, Mike Giacchino? Like the composer? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, he's here? And he's like, yeah, he's right over there.
Oh,
my
God.
God. We lost our
Help me!
You built my childhood. I love you.
So he comes over and we're like making a big thing of it, and he was just like, it's so great because you guys could just do that. That was like, you guys could do like Peter Pan. You could be doing like Mary Poppins. You could, oh my God, the potential is limitless. And we're just like, and it was about that time that we're like, we're going to start doing Disney covers. A lot of them.
Well, like, all right, that's one of the questions. One of the questions that we were thinking about too. First off, like, I love all your covers.
All your covers are amazing.
Yourself. It's because I love covers in general because the very reason we love covers is a different interpretation of something that we loved as children or 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and it's something new and exciting.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So a question that we were having is that where's the legality come in that?
Yeah.
Like,
how does that
work? Of course you play it at California
like at shows and stuff like that, but then when you try to market as, Phat Cat Swinger, like your CD, can you even do that? Because I know it's Disney property.
That has to be
there's got to be something,
fully approved by Disney's beforehand and so forth, or does it just fall under like parody or?
There's a short and a long answer.
Okay.
You want I'll do the short.
You do the performance.
I'm going to do the short side of it.
Be careful, they're listening.
They're listening always.
Listen, if you are a band out there trying to, this is not legal advice. This is just what we do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what we do is anything that has been released can be covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything that has been released can be covered.
Okay.
And you can cover it, and when you record it, you go and record it, and before you release it, you pay for licensing for that release.
Yeah.
Now there's different licensing. There's releasing for example, digital releasing, like streaming, Spotify, anything like that. And different companies do things like that. This is not sponsored, but like DistroKid, CD Baby, any of them all include those fees in your setup for those songs. So that's all covered. Now, when you want to, let's say, upload them for video use, that's technically a different licensing, and so that's why there's a lot of
so no YouTube or anything like that.
So there's different. You can, but then but then YouTube has gotten wise and they've started taking care of those things, right? They're monetizing. It all gets figured out. So thankfully, a lot of things are covered and everything. Now, when it comes to making the actual paper arrangement, there are two ways to do it. You could just do it to your heart's content and go, and just know that you never have any right to that song. And someday somebody could say, hey, you got to stop playing that or play it by memory. Two, you submit, which Sean can tell you more about, and you get the proper licensing so that you have the actual permission from the original writer, or whoever owns guarding that library of music. You pay for that. And that way you legit are, I mean, Sean can explain it more of that, but basically anything that's released, you're allowed to cover.
Yeah.
Cover it to your heart's content.
But once you start making money,
I think about,
and even if you make money, you could sell it. You could sell the CD as long as you pay for the licensing.
Yeah, because I think about the Christmas album. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. He sings it amazingly, but like I think about that.
Yeah.
Well, when I think about Christmas albums in general, it's always like, let's all these old standards. We don't have to pay anybody.
Right.
Yeah. But then I think about things like, do you guys know "Torn" by Natalie Imbruglia?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, she's not the original artist. The original artist is probably like crying their soup every day. It's a band called Endless Swap.
Dozens of those stories.
Yeah, where it's like, well, you have to hear the original. I'm like, I don't care. I love you, Natalie.
Yeah.
Right?
Even Tainted Love.
Tainted Love.
A lot of people think of the dance version.
I love the dance version, of course, but I hear the original. But at least the original had its time in the sun.
Right.
Yeah. No one knows who fucking Edna Swap is. Shout out to Edna Swap.
So it's basically, with a song, there's a lot of things you can do. You can perform it, you can write an arrangement of it, you can put it on a CD, you can put it on a video, and all of those things have different kinds of permissions. The coolest one is actually the ability to perform it, because that's actually not paid by the band, it's paid by the venue.
Right.
And so that's where we hear like ASCAP and BMI, these like big music royalty companies and whatnot. But there's the big movement that's been going on is we now have a lot of these kids graduating from college with these like writing degrees.
Oh, wow.
And 50 years ago, bands didn't have sheet music on stage.
Right,
And if you
right.
had sheet music on stage, you were either a jazz band and you made it yourself for your own originals, or you were like a classical group or orchestral group. Even Marco, and he does work with a lot of different rock bands and whatnot. There's no music on stage.
Yeah.
It's all up here, and so that's so.
Music comes from your heart.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from your head. It comes from your crotch.
It comes from your heart. So it's like so it's relatively new phenomenon that like pop bands are actually having like curated, orchestrated, like nicely done arrangements on stage, and so that's something that we actually have to seek special permission for.
Wow, yeah, man. Because I think about all the covers. I mean, how many covers do you guys have? You guys even counted? I mean, literally, you guys do a lot.
So last I checked, so we have over 200 songs in the library. Wow. And originals actually don't make up they make up a significant portion, but they're not a majority. I think last I counted, we had 35, 40 originals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's something, covers are very, very integral because it helps
draw them in.
It draws people into something they know, and at the same time gives them a little bit of us at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like they could say it's like it's not, they're not just, so there's a word we use in the industry. If it's literally exactly like the recording, we call that a takedown.
Okay.
So
those are the ones I hate.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah, we're not too fond of them. I mean, with us, luckily, there's not too many bands that have the exact same instrumentation that we do. So usually what we have to do is we have to get creative and take, like, if we have to do a takedown, which sometimes, for weddings or like special requests or whatnot.
Play it like the album.
Someone wants to hear "Fly Me to the Moon."
Yeah.
Right.
Count Basie version.
Right.
I have a rule when I'm arranging is if I can't make it better, make it honest.
That's cool.
So and there's some
I use that advice in everything I do.
So it's like but like a 2-point example. You mentioned "Fly Me to the Moon." Like "Fly Me to the Moon's" a song that
we all hear it.
We all
know it.
And if it's different, people will go,
like,
yeah.
Did you say something about the Philippines? Have you seen that song in the Philippines?
It's My Way.
It's My Way.
That's
My Way.
Okay, tell us, maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh.
Tell us about the Filipino, like, if you sing My Way, what happens?
Yeah, it's a cultural phenomenon where, and if you sing that song in public, you get shot.
In the Philippines. I don't know why.
Somebody tell
That's a very deep cut reference to the end of Goodfellas. The end of Goodfellas is the Sex Pistols, My Way, and the last shot is Joe Pesci shooting a gun.
Right.
So maybe they're like, "Oh, Goodfellas."
Yeah, because when he told me that at work one day, I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, and I'm like, look it up. Right now.
My God, My Way. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I understand for weddings, of course, you want to play it note perfect, but then that's the beauty of something like California Adventure Performance. They're like, "Is that? Holy shit!" Like they pipe up and they're like, "Oh, I want to go over there."
Yeah.
And those little twists and turns that you guys put in there just definitely just like, I don't know, it just gives it that extra. You don't want to do, what is it called, a takedown, right?
Right.
Yeah, you don't want. I don't like takedowns just don't make sense.
Right.
You guys put your own, swing into it, and then you guys are in there.
Get off my show, Tony.
Oh my God. So I guess so I know you guys just celebrated 20 or 21 years now.
We're going into 21.
You're going into 21 now.
All right.
The band started in 2002.
So I know you're, one of the founders. So when did Sean and Eric come in?
So
Mark.
Sorry.
Eric.
I'm so asleep. Sorry.
Eric came in
afterwards.
Remember that one episode when we needed a third one to talk about Marvel there? All right.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Sean and Mark.
So, we've had many evolutions of the band, and was actually the inspiration of our second album title, Swingin' Evolution, and I felt like this band is always going to be evolving.
Right.
So Sean came in towards the tail end of Douglas's first round with Phat Cat. Douglas sang from 2010 to 2015.
Was that the gentleman that wore glasses?
He's the one that usually wears a hat, a fedora.
The Sinatra fella.
The Sinatra fella.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So Sean, what was that, about 14 or so?
November 2014.
November 2014. Yeah, because
coming up on I'm in the 9th year right now.
Wow. Hey.
That's awesome.
Right now, Mark is the baby.
Yeah, Mark is the baby of the group.
And so when Sean came in, that really started making a turning point for our band, because Sean came in at the last time that that was the last time we were ever like a band in the sense of like what it used to be in the old days. Like, it's like you got your core guys, it never changes.
Yeah.
We don't do gigs without the other guys. It's like, it's like we just do it like that. And then we're like, you know what though, we're kind of missing an opportunity here. So, and then Sean really took our library and started cleaning it up and making it better and tightening things up and bringing new arrangements to it and like saying, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And I'm like, yeah, but there's no time. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to go. And
he was able to methodically
Sean
go through
Sean is very like organized and methodical. He is the reason that this band is as organized as it is.
That's the Rivers Cuomo effect.
And so then that ultimately led to meeting other musicians, because suddenly musicians are like reputable musicians were like, oh, we can actually play this book now, because before it was a mess. I'll say it, but it was like we did the thing of like, hey, we got to have some rehearsals before the gig and make sure everybody's got that one part that the music doesn't look clean. Sean started fixing that, and then we got new people, and eventually through the people that we met, they kept mentioning, hey, have you heard of Mark Kapitsky? And I was like, no, I haven't. Tell me. And then it's like, oh, we toured with him in Glenn Miller, and then he's a really good guy, and I was like, all right. And usually I'm just kind of very I like this all the time. So I was like waiting, and then finally we're at that 2019 Festival of Holidays, and I tell Sean, I said, you know what? Let's call Mark. And we met with him at the Eat Drink Americano in downtown LA, and we said, let's go have some drinks and just talk. And we talked, and my girlfriend Cameron was there with us, and we all just talking to feel it out, feel the vibe.
Yeah.
How's the vibe?
That's always it. Beyond any lick of talent or anything like that, it's like, can I get along with this?
Exactly.
Person?
And I said, we're already in the middle of a festival. I can't bring you in mid-fest, but I said, we can start getting you ready for things. And so.
But this was strictly as a trumpet player? First?
No, vocalist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, we knew as a vocalist, because at that time I was taking a lot of the bulk of singing. Douglas is here. Douglas has his own band as well now. Yeah. So it's like, but we still collaborate in the sense is like, hey, when we come together, let's when we're available, we come together. Okay. But otherwise, it's Mark and me now, right? And so, 2019 is when we met Mark. January, I think it was, or maybe in December, we were filming our Friend Like Me music video. And this was before anybody knew about Mark. And then that's where the cameo of Mark began, because we're like, people, eventually it'll make sense. But right now, nobody's going to know, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Right? There's like, can your friends go poof? And then Mark pops on the screen. Well, looky here.
Yeah.
Right? And so then that's where we brought him in.
Transition.
And we were starting, our plan that year was to shoot many, many music videos. And then obviously that didn't happen. But that was Mark's introduction. And like Mark said earlier, we had like 6 gigs, was it?
Yeah, about that much.
Yeah.
So I have to address the elephant in the room. Your stage persona versus what I'm seeing now. You are a different person. Like, I was literally just watching a performance on your Instagram while I was driving up here, and you're jumping and swinging and all that. And here I'm just like,
high octane energy, the
like,
splits in the air.
That's stage Mark. Did you find it hard to take front and center at all with your first band and with Phat Cat Swinger? Or is it like that's your id? Like that's when I awaken. That's
what I'm thinking too, right? It gives them that energy, right? That little.
It's the Clark Kent version.
Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, I look at it as a different sort of persona. I guess starting in musical theater, it literally you see it as a different character. You don't see it. But then over the years, I've done more and more singing, and more of it's where me or a version of me, So it becomes more and more comfortable. I just switch it on once we do sound check, and it's like, all right, here we go.
Do your mom and your sister like sit at stage left and cluck their tongues like, he just wanted to play trumpet? Look at that.
No,
you didn't believe us.
Poser.
No, they're excited and happy that I saw the The lights.
Ah!
Yeah, he's joined in on the performing sort of aspect of it. So
that is so cool.
I wanted to bring this up specifically because my first exposure to swing music, big band, was the movie Swingers. Now, here's the funny thing. I watched that movie when I was like maybe 11 years old, 12 years old, and I thought that's what growing up was like. So by the time I turned 21, I was like ready to go out to downtown LA, ready to go out to the Brown Derby, all this stuff, and it wasn't there. It was such a bummer. So that's why when I saw you guys and bands like you forming when I was old enough to actually enjoy swing music and that whole culture, I was like, wow, it's a renaissance. Yeah. How is that how you kind of came into it too?
If I could say, yeah. So, well, swing music, I remember, like it just came naturally because I played sax. I grew up playing sax. So, it started when Will graduated high school, and I started hanging out with him. And I said, hey, let's go see Big Bad Voodoo Daddy this summer. So we went to the OC Fair, saw them, and we were determined to meet them. So we stuck around. We got to meet the guys. We within 6 months or a year, we became friends with them. And it was after that first concert though that we're like, let's make a band, let's do this. And we said, but swing is dying. I said, that's okay.
We're gonna bring it back.
We will because everything comes in cycles, and when it comes back, we will be so polished and ready that there's no question about who is the band that does this or one of the bands. Like we will be there. So that was I saw that from the get-go of doing this, because for me, at that time, I was telling myself either I'm going to make a rock band or the swing band. And
well, a sax would work in either.
Yeah, either one of them.
Yeah, because like, and so then like I found like everything led. I just follow energy, and everything led to starting Phat Cat Swinger. Everything just naturally happened, and it just kept coming. Like the pieces were there one by one over the years, and that's where it started. So I knew that we just had to keep going, and we don't stop, and it'll do its thing. And it's that integrity that I really respect, because some other bands would be like, hey, why don't we try acid trap?
Jungle bass.
Yeah. Jungle bass. Come on. We could do an acid jungle bass version of Friend Like Me, right? Let's do it. How about you guys? Has there always been a focus line like this? Has there ever been any deviations, I guess, where you're like, I want to try out, opera. I want to try out hip hop, or is it really just? Well, you were talking about like different styles coming in, but is your first love always going to be swing and big band?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I started out as a classical singer and then did musical theater and then fell into big band, but then out of necessity for cover bands and stuff, did pop and rock and soul. And so I did, like, I know we're in the swing genre, but when I perform with Phat Cat Swinger, I don't feel like we're playing in a big band. I feel like we're playing in a rock band.
Right.
That's what it feels like.
Well, because the energy
is there completely.
The theatrics, that's like when it comes to rock, like that's the primary definition. There's some rock bands I don't call rock bands because they just stand there.
Like I was saying, like I miss like a lot of the 80s hair bands that just went wild and crazy on stage. That's what I always considered rock myself. So when I see them, I can see the distinguishedness of like
they just need more hairspray.
They just rock it out.
Hairspray. I see that.
How about you, Sean? Have you ever had experimentations?
Oh my gosh. Well, so, I mean, I think every musician definitely goes on a journey where they get to experience and work with different groups. I've played in ska bands. I've played in hardcore, legit jazz bands where it's like we're all going to just do our thing, and that kind of stuff.
You smoke here.
No.
You smoke now.
You do now. And but what's interesting, there's a little story. I'll try to keep it short. John Philip Sousa, who was one of the great American march writers.
We know. Well, I know.
And
I'm like,
he would come up with new ideas for songs, and he was always trying to do something different, something out of the box, something new and fresh. He wanted to start a new genre of music, and his wife would always just come over to the piano and start playing the oompa, oompa, oompa.
Okay.
It's like, you're just writing another march, John. You know, you don't even know it anymore.
Yeah.
You're
Get
just
the hell out of my studio. Oh, wait a minute.
She's right. She's like, dang it. And it's funny
Shout
because
out to D'Souza.
so it's almost kind of like that now with Phat Cat, where like I'll come up with a new song idea, and then it's like there's almost like a reflex part of the brain that goes like, well, how would Phat Cat play that? And it's just like, well, as a writer, I don't have to ask that question,
right?
But it's just such a part of my day, and it's just the performing ensemble that's happy and willing to play what I write, and so it's like you just start thinking things through that lens. And what's weird is we really have a lot of musical styles within our own style.
Mm-hmm.
We have like Don't Worry Be Happy. We go full ska reggae.
Yeah.
We have some Dave Richards wrote a version of Love from Disney's Robin Hood that has these parts that sounds like you're listening to like a New York big band with very rich, lush, colorful complexity and stuff. And so it's cool because we're really just sort of pushing the borders further out as far as what qualifies as pop swing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great because
you have like a route to ground you, but you have the freedom to explore, and then come on back.
Yeah,
and then it all feels familiar.
Right.
I think if I can say, like, one of the things that when we created the show we did for Sweethearts Night, that was when we brought in more than
Well, you said you were going to post video.
That was the first time we brought in multiple arrangers for a project, and when we sat down and talked, we said, look, I want you to explore what you creatively think is fun to do this, but also just, remember that it's got to fit the Phat Cat stage. It's got to fit these certain things. These are the goals. This is what our mission is to try and do with Phat Cat music. So, yes, it can stray a little bit as long as it delivers what we're trying to give to the fans and friends that we make, right? So, and then everyone came back, and what was great is that everyone brought back arrangements that they were proud to play. And that's the thing. So it's like everyone is like feels more invested because they're like, oh yeah, I love when we do this song. And so it's like we're just excited to play these songs. Like people suddenly think we're a Disney band just because we're doing this now. Yeah. But we're so excited about it. And but though that was the starting point of like then bringing in Don't Worry Be Happy and other things and other arrangements, and like, oh, I wonder what would it sound like if I threw in this and this and that, and and I'm like, go for it. Like, if you are excited about it, I encourage you to do it. Bring it, and then everyone else is going to love playing it too.
And then we're going to make it 100% Phat Cat Swinger.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I have a good question because you said Disney, right? So of course, being the Disney podcast, how did Phat Cat Swinger get into the light of Disney in the sense of when did it start, or how did it start playing? First off, of course, downtown Disney, and then eventually getting into more of a mainstream, and like now you're in the park. So can you tell us kind of like walk us through that part? Like, how did that work?
It's more like, how does one become a Disney band? Like, is there a job application, or it's just like, hey, we know this band that will play?
Nowadays, it's very different. We're one of the, to my knowledge, we're one of the last bands that was brought into the system in the old and new school, because there was the person who brought us in, then retired, and then there's a new person that came in. So everything, if you're out there and listening, you want to figure it out, DisneyAuditions.com, and then just perform your ass off, like they're
looking for cast members in all capacities.
They want and Disney Auditions. This is for they want people like performers. They want entertainers, right? So like they you can try to audition for a cast member job, but also this is for as a band, like to come in as a contractor. Yeah.
So the Terrorist, the Down to Disney stage.
Exactly. So the way we came in, I actually auditioned for a show. I'm not technically allowed to say what I do there, but I auditioned for a show, and you might have seen it, and so that was my in to Disney.
Okay.
When I came in, anytime I'm in a new scenario, I'm always observing everything, how it operates, because I want to learn why is this so successul?
Just like the saxophone back in 5th grade.
Yeah. So I observe, and I'm like, okay. So then I started observing, and then eventually, once I knew who were the important people, I went up to them and I said, hey, how can I get my band here? And they're like, oh, well, just book a show here in Orange County. So then I reached out to Dapper Day, and I said, hey, Dapper Day, would you guys like to do an after party? I think it'd be great if you guys did it, at the House of Blues. They're like, oh, we've been trying to get the House of Blues. It's too expensive. We're actually thinking of doing that this year at Ralph Brennan Jazz Kitchen. Would you like to do it? I said, yeah. So you were there, the Folly, yeah. So
I was there.
So that was Phat Cat's first time. It wasn't an official Disney gig. It was outsourced through. We came in through Dapper Day.
Through Dapper Day.
And so shout out to Dapper Day, Justin, and thank you for giving us that first opportunity, because then the booker literally walked from his office to Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen, saw us perform. And he comes and he's like, Marco, I love it. He goes, I love it. I'll be in touch.
I love it.
I love it. I'll be in touch. And
You're going places, kid.
Yeah. From there, we didn't do anything for a year. But then finally the first opportunity came in, Downtown Disney. And so we started paying our dues at Downtown Disney. And when I say we were paying our dues, we were paying our dues. I'm not going to give any other details, but we paid our dues. And even the bands, I think, that are doing it now have it better than we had it back then. Yeah. And then, you know what? The bands before us had it even harder.
They gave them a COVID handicap.
It's a hard gig, because you have to provide everything. You have to be self-sustained.
Yep.
You have to create. And we are a big band, and we don't. It doesn't matter if the gig pays $1 or $1 million. We treat every gig the same.
I think the CDs were still a thing at that time.
And we were allowed to sell merch back then. So that
I bought a CD.
So then,
out of that, we created a rule: never play to the pay.
Integrity.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. And so we did that for 3 or 4 years, and then because Sean came in towards the latter half of that, because we used to have a guy named Ralph play tenor. And then I remember our first time at Downtown Disney, there was an accidental double booking. So the band that was in from out of town took the stage over by where ESPN Zone was. Yeah. And then we set up in front of Wonderground.
Okay.
And we're on the floor.
So it was like a push and pull of who do we get drawn to the most?
It was a complete blockage. Yeah. There was no possible way to move. Everyone crowded the place so much that security came and said, "Hey, we need you to stop playing." And
tell them to stop.
I know.
But there was no room to walk through.
And that was enough clout for them to say, we need you at the park.
Well, not yet. We still continue to pay our dues after that. And then it wasn't until 2017, so this was 3-ish years after we get into Downtown Disney, 2017, the booker contacts me, the new booker. He had, when there was a transfer in the boss, he observes us. He goes, "Hey, I really appreciate your work ethic. Your band seems to all have integrity, and you perform like this is $1 million gig." And I said, "Thank you for noticing that." And he says, "Would you like to play in the park?" I said, "Please." I said, this is why we're here. I said, we're here because I've been trying to get whoever's attention I need to get us in there. So he says, "I think I have an opportunity." And so they offered us something like 14 days of food and wine 6 years ago. So 2017. So
we've done 5 runs, but it was 6
years
years
ago. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, COVID.
So we did that first food and wine. And the funny thing was, we're like, hey, let's just take weekdays so we could work the weekends. And then after doing that first year, I said, you know what, we should have taken the weekends. Yeah. And I understand why, because again, I'm a big picture person. I've always focused on the bigger picture. What's the long-term payday? Not right now. I'll get through today the same way I have all my 40 years of life. Just one moment at a time, and I keep going. But what's the big picture? Let's get there, and let's pay the dues that we got to keep doing now until that day is there. So we kept focusing, and when we finally got that festival, one day, one of the upper ups happened to be walking in the park, and they say, "This is perfect. This is exactly what I've been wanting to see in the park." That's where the Festival of Holidays became a thing. And they said, "Do you have a Christmas show?" We said, "No, but we can make one."
Yeah.
And
I've seen clips of that.
That's amazing.
And that once we created that Christmas show, then the following year, we did the first year. The second year, they asked us to play 7 days in a row, 63 days in a row. And that was when we said we need to expand the band. We can't just be 9 to 10 guys anymore.
Right.
We industrialized.
Yeah.
we basically
sleep, man.
We're a brand and a business now.
Yeah. But I hope that answered your question.
No, it's a beautiful answer on that.
It leads to my, we're about to finish up.
Oh.
So you guys are finishing up a residency the 22nd?
21st for us.
21st. Okay. So that was an 8-week show. And what do you have next for you?
Well, Mark, you want to?
Well, just 2 days later, we have the Cicada Club in downtown LA.
You want to throw that in?
Yeah, so the doors are going to be opening at 8 p.m. And if you haven't been, it's literally a historic building, all Art Deco inspired. Art Deco.
My weekend's off.
What are you doing this Sunday?
Yeah,
Are you off this Sunday?
I'm off the Sunday.
Do you want to go?
I gotta see if someone will watch kids.
Okay.
And if my suit's ready.
Because I want to try to go. I'm going to try to go this Sunday. So I think we should try to go. I don't know if you want to go, but
I can go out and try it.
See, Mark already plugged me though. He's I'm there, Mark. I'm going already.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll see you there.
And onward and outward. What's next for you guys?
Ooh. Well, we have this year. We get to, every band gets to this point where and I'm not meaning to speak necessarily for Marco here.
Crossroads.
Well, no. where we realize we've reached so much of our potential that now we are recognizing it's like we're starting to find our own limitations, and we're starting to go. We need to grow. We need to get people who can help us get to that next step because we have a complete and total package that's ready to go.
Yeah.
And so we've got some management working with us now. And the thing that is most attractive is the fact that we can double and even sometimes triple book.
Yeah.
We could have a band on a boat somewhere. We could have a band on tour somewhere, a band here at Disneyland, and all of that is not just attractive, obviously to them. They're obviously incentivized for that, but it's starting to catch the eyes and ears of larger parties, labels,
awesome.
Things like that. So we're that's really sort of the new horizon as we've described it so far. We're still going to be doing what we do. We're still going to be writing a bunch of tunes. Still going to be playing in as many different places and sharing and spreading that love. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. We've even toyed around with the idea of getting animated.
That
would be really cool.
That would be fun.
That's
man.
We can't
Really
wait.
nice.
We wish you the best.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. I mean,
Thank you.
you've unofficially been the podcast band.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely.
Shout Cat.
We've been
Shout Cat.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this. Do you want to plug your socials?
Sure. Go ahead.
Mark Kapitsky.
Easy.
Instagram?
At Mark Kapitsky, Instagram, Facebook, all that. Yeah.
I'm at O'Kelly Music, and it's Okelley.
Mine is the Marco Palos, TheMarcoPalos, on basically Instagram and TikTok is where I live.
All right. And the main for Phat Cat Swinger is just at Phat Cat
PhatCatSwinger.
Practice that.
They did. They already had that ready.
Yeah.
Did I say something?
Well, again, thank you guys for really coming down to the studio and recording with us. This is actually our first time in the studio. We usually record out of his house.
Yeah.
His house would have been amazing, just as amazing to record at because it's kind of like this.
But it's a drive.
But it's a drive.
Hey, appreciate it.
But hopefully next time we can have you guys back over again. Maybe sometime, talk over about music, about Disney and stuff. But really, thank you guys for coming. We really do appreciate taking time out of your day.
Thank you so much.
And do you want to wrap it up at this point, or
we'll just take a little break?
all right, we'll take a little break and we'll come back. And thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Phat Cat Swinger.
They're still here.
Hey everybody, I'm Marco Palos.
I'm Mark Kapitsky.
And we are Phat Cat Swinger.
Woo!
Come on
right, guys, we are back. I hope you guys enjoyed that segment.
God, those guys are fucking great.
They're awesome, man. I love their music. And, I don't know.
No, but even then, like,
yeah, you could see Tony fanboying.
Yeah.
A lot.
Where was his hands when Marco was sitting here?
Oh my
God! I was keeping a close eye on Tony. I'm like,
yeah, but it was
Tony.
weird to finally see them in person. Like it's weird, like this weird kind of celebrity idol worship. I mean, they're regular dudes.
They're regular dudes.
I heard them talking in there about taxes. I was like, they're regular dudes.
Yeah, they're regular dudes
right?
just like us.
But they're super cool, down to earth, and
Yes,
they have
they
a great sound, great plan. I hope
I wish them well, and I hope we can get them back on the pod again.
I made a joke where I was like, I kind of want them to see if they could do our theme music. Imagine if they just did like a, well, let's pitch it right now because they're listening right now.
Yeah.
Could you guys do like a quick little 30-second musical thing with
just
one of you? Yeah, and one of you going like, and now Mousetopia with Eric. Oh no, sorry, not Eric. So with your hosts, Teardrop Tony, Jonas the Jedi Master, and Variant E.
Oh, it goes.
Yeah.
Variant E.
If you guys have the time, please.
If you guys have the time,
with the tune of what?
Pay for it.
Spider-Man.
Let us know.
No, just
with the tune of Spider-Man, because that's kind of like how they're.
The sound.
Yeah, sound.
Yeah, it would be really cool. But
that would be really cool. But it was cool. It was so cool. That little. It was cool having them there.
Yeah.
We knew them. We knew them when.
We knew them when.
You know what's the really coolest thing about that is that they were talking about Suburban Legends, and I was like, that was the Disney band that I grew up with,
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the next generation, and wow, it's that weird. Like I'm kind of getting little tingles. Like Disney will keep going.
Yeah,
no matter
yeah.
What.
Like I
They'll have different forms and shapes, but
yes, it keeps going.
Just like Walt.
Speaking about Disney, I wanted to show you guys off some stuff real quick.
Oh, swag.
Yeah. So first off, I got this hat. As you guys can see, Walt Disney Studios. So right now, Walt Disney Studios is celebrating their 100th
Disney
100 100 years.
Yeah.
So shout out to my beautiful girlfriend,
Director Isabel. We miss you.
I miss you. Wish you were here.
Fellow
First off, the bag itself. The bag itself is
I
new.
have this bag at Daiso.
That's Daiso?
Daiso.
So it's like $5. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's cheap, dude. Daiso. Oh, yeah, and then
it's a little comic strip.
Yeah, and the camera bag that it comes with too.
Dude, all right, Daiso's.
Daiso's
You know, I always look at their
stepping it
Disney
up.
stuff, but I always see like just, oh, here's a soap container, here's a fucking bento toothpicks. All right, but what you got? You got
So she got me this limited edition.
some. Wow, cereal.
Yeah, 100 years of Disney magic.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's from Post, so you could actually take it out of the bag. Let
Wait.
me show you guys.
Is it cereal? Because
Yeah,
I
is
saw
it-
that Disney 100
Oh, no,
cereal.
yeah, you can open it.
All right.
So is
You're
it
more than welcome to
is it
open
an actual cereal?
Actually, an actual
Confetti
cereal box.
cake
wow.
cereal.
But
So
there's
you
like
can actually eat it. Yeah, you can eat it, but I'm not gonna eat it because I want to keep it in the box.
Oh, right.
The box looks amazing.
Oh, wow.
And actually, if you look at the back, it's like a comic strip. So
wow.
Wait, was this at the
No,
the shelves?
it's not at Disney. This
Yeah, because
is
I've seen the
something that you
Disney.
order
I've seen the
offline.
Disney 100 cereal.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then, well, you said you want to keep it all safe.
Yeah,
was
I
saying
don't
you
wanna
could-
eat
you
it,
could-
though.
No, I was saying to even just use the tin to like hold our mics
Yeah,
or
that
stuff
would
like
be
that.
so cool.
That's
So-
cool.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's really badass. Dude.
I'm doing pretty good when it comes to the Disney 100 merch, but I know what you're gonna pull up. So let's show that.
This is the thing Eric got me from. Where would you get it?
Frankincense.
Frankincense.
Wow.
This is so this is their what's the variant? Their
It's a
variant
variant
series.
cover,
Yeah.
So it's a variant cover. It's supposed
a-
to be a Spider-Man series, but it's
No,
the
no.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, it's just they took classic Marvel comic covers and then threw the Disney characters.
Yeah.
The one I want is the Fantastic Four one.
That's the one that
That's
you want,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's really,
I love
really
it because, all right, one of my favorite pieces of merch that I own is a Darth Vader helmet with Mickey ears. I've taken pictures with it, but then it's just Disney's way of declaring, yeah, we own that now. And then now with this, we're like, we own them too. That's right.
We own all of you.
Yes.
They're evil, but we love them.
Comic, so.
Yeah. It's
Wait,
it's
but
cool.
what's the comic? Did they redraw the comic with the characters
Not
too,
really,
or?
so. No, and I'm just talking about the cover itself. So this
Yeah,
is an Amazing Spider-Man issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a variant cover. So it's a variant cover meaning like if a comic book shop orders like a certain amount of issues,
They get the special cover.
Yeah, they get a special cover. Let's say
So
they
how-
order like.
Well, how much
100
did that cost
copies.
then? Because
This one didn't cost that much, to be honest with you. But the Fantastic Four one. I haven't seen it yet.
Damn
so
it! All right, I'm gonna go to Frank's Saturday. I'm off. I'll check it out.
Okay. He hasn't gone to Frank's.
You've never been?
I've never been.
Dude,
yeah, I've always told him, and he's always told me like, yeah, let's go.
You're
But
go.
it sucks every time I want to go.
It's
I'm
Wednesdays
stuck,
or
like-
Thursdays. I grew up with Frank and Sons. Frank
I
and Sons
know,
is a collectible show that's in City of Industry, and it's only open Wednesdays and Saturdays and now Sundays, right?
Sundays now, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like basically 100 different comic collectible toy shops. You could buy fucking swords at some places. It's great. But speaking of Marvel, we have some Marvel talk.
Yeah,
Marvel
there's some
news.
Marvel stuff. We had a couple of trailers that have come out. The last of the Guardians of the Galaxy trailers and the Marvels has come out. Did you watch the trailers?
I have.
I haven't seen a Marvels trailer.
You haven't seen the Marvels trailer?
No. I was only sticking with like the bad gossip, where it's like something about Brie Larson being all grandstandy because it's not called Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah,
I don't want to get dirty or shit talky, but that's what happens to me. Where I'm like, it's a great trailer, but was she being a bitch? That's what I care about.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But
I don't care. I don't care if she's
So
being
wait,
a bitch. I'm a big Brie Larson.
So
fan.
it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
And is it a theatrical movie or a Disney Plus movie?
No, theatrical movie.
So it's all the characters. It's Captain Marvel. It's Miss Marvel. It's the Photon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so it looks, to be honest with you, it gave me a good vibe from it. I got a good vibe from it. I don't know how you felt about it. I felt there's a lot of energy, a lot of good chemistry. It felt fun.
Yeah, it did have like that fun.
Like, because I know that we think about
energy
about Thor recently. Thor was fun, but then it also had
too
like
fun
a
for you.
Dude, yeah.
But then we have a lot of these like
Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be
very
grim.
downy, you know, very.
We need
down.
something to lift us up,
right? So I felt like
yeah.
that's what I felt with this trailer. It felt really good. It felt uplifting. It felt fun. It felt like we're gonna go on an adventure. It felt really good. It felt like almost like I don't know, like maybe even like the first Avengers, maybe where it felt really good. Now,
we want
quality. I don't know.
We want to see them have fun, and we want to see fun at first, but then we know it's going to take a serious turn down the road.
Exactly. We don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, when I was thinking about the Miss Marvel series, I watched. I didn't finish it. I'm sorry, but then I enjoyed the episodes that I did watch. Captain Marvel was fun, and I really thoroughly enjoyed Captain Marvel.
I like Captain
Marvel. And Photon, she didn't really do much in WandaVision, but we saw enough of her where we're like, this is going to be
And I feel like
cool
we get
too.
to know a little bit more about her because the trailer shows you a little bit more what she's doing.
I mean, like, I'm trying to think about her power. Her power is just colors? What does she do? She walk through light?
She's able to manipulate her matter, so she could actually disappear, but she could also build up that energy and use it. So it's kind of a little bit different. But
when is it coming out, actually?
I don't remember that one. That one I don't remember. I know we're just right around the corner from Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, and I know you're looking forward to it.
That's what I'm looking
excited.
for. I think all three of us are looking forward to that one.
Yeah, but you tell me, because you're the #1 fan of James Gunn. Right? That fucking traitor.
Yeah. So he's going to be switching over to the DC side. Well,
I mean, like the trailers, the first trailer was fun. The second trailer had a little bit darker edge to it.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing trailers flat out where like, who will die?
Yeah.
You know, and then as spoilers, you know, they show a shot of Drax with a fucking gaping hole in his chest.
Yeah.
Being helped along by the other Guardians.
Right.
Yeah, but I heard it's the Rocket story, right? It's all about Rocket.
It's all about
Rocket storyline almost. That's what it looks like.
I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but I did see a shot.
I saw a shot of Rocket's head. It was on the floor. I don't know if that's a spoiler.
Yeah.
What you see?
Spoiler or
possible spoiler. Possible spoiler.
Yeah, possible spoiler. But there's a shot of Adam Warlock, and seems like he has a skull, like a small skull on his chest.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, it could be either like Rocket.
Or his mommy.
Yeah.
Like, because I know that I'm just going from what I saw in the trailer, but there's a shot of ostensibly Rocket and another raccoon type character with him.
Is it an otter?
I don't know. They never say what it is.
It looks like an otter. But
Trash Panda. Remember Trash Panda?
Yeah. Trash Panda.
So basically, this is James Gunn's
last hurrah.
For
well,
Marvel.
You know what he said? And I'm just like, I'm just saying, like, what he said recently was that this is the biggest opportunity they have to do a Marvel DC crossover.
Because he's the golden link
just
between
imagine that, though.
I will bet my fucking house that's not gonna.
It's not gonna
There's
happen.
too many huge dicks in the room.
It's not gonna happen because when was the last time that Marvel and DC had a crossover.
I remember.
It's been a long time.
I remember.
I know
It was
they had-
I remember the comic
Was
book.
it? Was it Wolverine, Batman? He
Wolverine,
had like
Batman,
it was-
and then Superman,
Captain America?
Yeah.
That was like in the 90s.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
That was
when
before
Marvel,
Disney even owned
That-
it.
it was
that
called.
was
It was called
before-
the Amalgam Universe.
Yeah.
That's a different one too.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's a different
I thought that
one.
was Amalgam.
That was when they combined the characters.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like I said, Batman and Wolverine were combined characters.
Yeah,
Wow.
it looked like Wolverine, but
Yeah.
his claws looked like batarangs. I
Yeah.
mean, come on,
But-
it's worth a swing for the fences.
Right.
Yeah,
For
but
the
that
fences.
was when comics in general weren't that big.
Right.
Yeah.
Mainstream.
Now
And,
it's a huge. They build theme parks behind it. They're not going to freely let their characters associate.
exactly.
Yeah.
And look, Marvel can't even make a solo Hulk movie.
Yeah.
They can't even do
We
that.
don't even
let
own our
alone-
characters.
Yeah, let alone do a crossover
I
with
know, it's
another
horrible.
comic
It's
company.
James Gunn is very optimistic, but even he doesn't have all the power.
No, he
You know,
doesn't.
so I saw Super Mario Brothers. First off,
yeah.
I loved it. I watched it
I
twice.
loved it too. I saw it. I
Oh, you
finally
saw it? Oh, I
You didn't watch it yet?
Yeah, well, you guys can.
I'm
spoil
gonna
it.
watch.
watch
No,
it,
no,
though. No, you
there's
gotta
no
watch
there's
it.
no spoiling it. He saves the day. That's
Yeah.
the
Saves
end.
the day, and
But-
then
but-
I've seen clips of it online. Like I said, I don't care. But
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what I've been telling everyone is that despite all the clips, it was still a surprise, and I still loved it.
I've
But
seen Bowser singing.
well, that was that was a pretty big spoiler. But
Oh, is
yeah,
it?
yeah, because when it happened, like I watched it without my wife with the kids on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And my wife said, "Don't spoil anything." So for 4 days, I couldn't not
Sing
sing
that
that
song.
song. I was like trying, so I find myself, Peach, I gotta stop. And then when my wife finally saw it, she was like, again, everyone, oh my god, that song is in my head. Just last night, I was fucking playing it because there's
Jack
all right,
Black's amazing.
you
I
actually
love Jack Black.
one. I don't know who I got it from, but you guys follow someone called Easy Band. It's
I
a
do,
guy,
I
yeah,
do.
okay, so I got it from you, but he's a gentleman that performs norteño versions of songs.
Oh, yeah.
And just last night he posted a norteño Peaches, and
Oh,
I was
he did that
the
yet?
whole thing because it's only a minute long, and I was jamming it. My wife's like, "You're still listening to that?" Like annoyed, but after a while she was like, "That's great." Yeah, but only reason I bring that up is because during both showings there was a trailer for Blue Beetle. Now,
yes.
I've
I
never.
love that. That
well,
was good.
well,
I
that's the
liked it.
thing. I didn't see it coming, but I was watching it, and my thought was like, "This looks fun. This looks interesting. Is this a James Gunn thing?" And then I talked to Eric. He said no, but it's you said it was like the most apparent that it seems like a James Gunn thing.
Yeah, because he did talk about, and you're the one that mentioned this.
Yeah.
I mean, he did talk about that it is going to be a part of his new universe, basically. But
It's
I
a
don't know
one
how
survivor.
Yeah, but I don't know how it's going to tie in because Flashpoint hasn't happened yet, unless they're making it like post Flashpoint.
They're maybe they could they throw in a post credit scene
yeah.
where it's like, hey, what's
The Flashpoint will still come out before it though, right? Because the Flashpoint trailer was before it.
well, yeah. When is Flashpoint coming out anyway?
Yeah.
I don't. That's
Around this, let me just see when.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's coming out before Blue Beetle.
Yeah, but what did you think of the trailer for Blue Beetle?
You know, it's funny. I didn't expect George Lopez to be in this.
You know, I did not. Yeah, I did not.
as
do
the
that.
uncle.
is it uncle or dad or like?
Something like that.
Yeah, I did not
With the
expect
long hair.
that.
First
Yeah.
off, like I love that kid. I always call him Miguel because of Cobra Kai. But then the fact that like the joke I made to Eric was like, he's about our height. So then we finally have a superhero for 5'8" people. Yay!
He doesn't have to be super tall.
It looks fun, but then for me, you knew it at the very end when they were talking about Batman, and then George Lopez goes, "He's a fascist." I went, "Fascist!" Yeah, but it looks really fun. And you know what? It got me in the way that the other trailers for DCU movies didn't get me.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't give a fuck about Wonder Woman 1984. I didn't give a fuck about Black Adam because they look dour. Even Wonder Woman 1984, where it's bright and funny and 80s music, I wasn't interested in it because it didn't look fun. But this one looks fun and engaging and very exciting to see. Like there's a moment in the trailer where he thinks of a weapon and it looks like Cloud's Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII. And then the suit goes like, good choice. So I was like, I like that.
I like that. That was really, really cool. Then we got like a bunch of Star Wars news. We just had Star Wars Celebration in the UK a couple weeks ago, so we're excited about that.
The big ones are the Ahsoka Tano trailer. Yeah, and then they announced the Alkalite. Yeah, and there was a trailer that was briefly on the web for a little bit. I didn't get a chance to see it. But ultimately, the plan is a Dave Filoni universe movie.
Yeah.
So it's basically the culmination of all the live action shows, the movies after. I mean, I guess basically Disney Plus movie with all these characters in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if before we started recording, we were talking about the last episode of The Mandalorian, and we're caught up. Eric's not. He doesn't care.
I don't care
But-
yet.
Yeah,
Because I started watching.
But-
I started watching the second Star Wars movie, so I'm like not.
It's okay. Have you seen this Star Wars movie? It's called Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. But anyways, I still want to be guarded.
Yeah.
But then the last episode did mention by name a very important figure
That's in the
that's
Clone Wars.
that's in the past episodes in books, and that he is hinted at coming back. In the trailer, there's 2 trailers for Ahsoka that was released. One that was edited, and one that was pirated that you actually see this character in the footage. Yeah. So essentially, it's really big news for Star Wars.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited for that too.
But we have a lot. There's a lot to discuss. We went a little long with our last segment. It was worth it, but I don't know. I think we're gonna.
We have another podcast coming up May 6th.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about everything that's gonna happen.
Adventure
everything
Markets,
that's going on.
live
Adventure
show.
Markets, live show. Be
La
there.
La
be
Sierra
square.
High School starting 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
We will be there.
Yeah, and hey, if you're there, then you're gonna be on the show.
Yeah, easy.
We're gonna pull you. Just say, hey, I heard the live show from Hear No Evil, and then we'll pull you right on.
We'll pull you right in. All right, so I want to again thank you guys for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for our guests who were here.
Phat Cat Swinger.
Phat Cat Swinger.
Shout Cat.
Shout out to Hear No Evil. Shout out to Zoe for
Thank
the
you,
engineering.
Zoe.
And to you guys for watching the podcast and the show. We really appreciate it. May 6th, again, in Riverside, La Sierra. We're going to be recording live, hopefully giving out some goodies away. I said it on the Instagram. We're going to give it to you guys there. So we'll see you guys later. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Guys. Episode 34 is a wrap.
Fascist!
See y'all later.
See you later.
Fascist.
All right.
Be sure to bring your death certificate.